he'll sit down and he'll talk with team president Michael Bidwell. They'll discuss the future and the direction in particular of the young players. He says, I never do anything half-hearted. I have to be all in. Oh, and by the way, decision time's coming. So is golf season. To relax himself, help him clear his mind, golf begins tomorrow. He'll make a decision shortly after that.
Get out the golf sticks, huh? Larry says his golf game has suffered. Boy, one of the greats. Here in Seattle, the rain finally stopped after a couple of days. 47 degrees and cloudy. The Seahawks won the toss. They've elected to defer. That's Pharaoh Cooper, the former LA Ram, who was signed just a couple of weeks ago and was active last week. And 40-year-old Sebastian Janikowski, who was a little injured last week, had to take a couple of series off, but he's back in. And here we go. The touchback, and the Cardinals will start from the 25. These two teams met week 4 in Arizona, and in that game, Seattle won on the last play of the game when Sebastian Janikowski kicked a 52-yard field goal. And Josh Rosen played a strong game. It was his first NFL start.
He did. He played a strong game. There was 5 or 6 drops by the receivers and a couple missed field goals. Arizona very easily could have won that game. Let's not forget, they've won their last 3 matchups here in CenturyLink versus the Seahawks team.
Crowd always loud here. Larry Fitzgerald goes in motion. 2 tight ends in. Josh Rosen rolls and throws deep. And it is almost intercepted. He tried to hit the former Seahawk, Darrell Daniels, the tight end, who was double covered on the play.
And this is just an ill-advised decision. On a boot, you've got the flat early. Rosen didn't like it, didn't take it. Could have potentially had a shot to the outside of the comeback, but instead, he throws it up downfield to his tight end. These are the sorts of mistakes that you'd like to see growth out of Josh Rosen at this point in time in the season, given it's their last game of the year.
Three wide receivers in. And David Johnson carries and really bulls his way forward up to the 34-yard line. Delano Hill, the starting free safety, with a tackle. Cardinals on offense ranked last in every category.
And that's what's going to happen when you've got to change that offensive coordinator. They fired Mike McCoy earlier this season. They've got a lot of youth up front on their offensive line, a number of rookies, but also some guys that just joined the team within the past month. It's hard to get things going with all those moving parts.
Here's 3rd and 1. And it's David Johnson. And he may come up about a half-yard short. Shaquille Griffin, the left cornerback, number 26, came up and led the charge.
Yeah, if you're a cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks, you've got to be able to tackle. In this case, you're going to see Griffin come from the right side to be able to stop Johnson from getting any momentum moving forward. And this has been kind of the status quo for the Cardinals offense, the inability to continue drives. And for the Seahawks, it's been something they've been one of the best teams in the league at, getting off the field on 3rd down.
3 and out for the Cardinals. Brings Andy Lee, the leading punter in the league, on. Tyler Lockett is back deep for the Seahawks. Waits for a fair catch at about the 18-yard line. Now the Seahawks have had a turnaround season after losing their first 2 games, led by this man, Russell Wilson, with an MVP-type season. He's thrown 34 touchdown passes, has had only 6 interceptions.
Yeah, that's his career high. And actually, it's a number he matched last year that led the league. This year, though, you got guys like Patrick Mahomes throwing almost 50 touchdowns. So not quite there yet, but he's having the best season of his career. When you think about the fact that they changed offensive systems, they brought an OC, Brian Schottenheimer, and he's able to do that. It's pretty remarkable.
Chris Carson's the running back. And not much. Looks like no gain on the play on 1st down. Seahawks have had a couple of injuries on the offensive line. Not serious. They expect to have DJ Fluker and J.R. Sweezy back in the lineup for the playoffs.
Yeah, Sweezy dealing with an injury to it, I guess his foot, really his arch. Said usually that's a 3 to 4 week recovery. He's going to try to do it in 2 weeks and try to be back next week for the playoffs.
Carson again. And a nice cutback in the hole. Gets him up to the 32-yard line. Chris Carson has had an outstanding year. Let's check out the Cards on defense. And they've had changes on defense as well.
Yeah, no Marcus Golden, no Benson Mayoa. Mayoa, who was a former Seahawk, but really has developed and becoming quite the player for the Cardinals. He's out today, so a number of changes, but that's been the story of the Cardinals season.
Mike Davis in at running back. And Davis gets up close to the 35. You'll see a 4-man rotation at running back for the Seahawks, starting with Chris Carson, who's had a great season, a breakout season his second year, but Mike Davis, Rashad Penny, J.D. McKissick, they'll all be in there today.
They'll all be rotating in, but like you said, it starts with Chris Carson. Even though he's not in right now, remarkable the year that he's had, and in particular because it's the first time he's really been healthy in his career, dating back to his time in high school.
Off the play fake, Wilson being rushed and throws it away. Rodney Gunter, the defensive tackle, with a good rush inside. Seattle's running game, the best in the league.
And they do it more than anyone else, too. That's also a big key, and one of the reasons why is they've got the backs, the versatility, the flexibility to do a bunch of different things. But it's also been a change in offensive line. They brought in Mike Solari in their O-line. He's done a tremendous job helping to coach up that group to help pave the way for these running backs.
3rd and 7. Rush from the outside. Wilson steps up, dumps it off, and they've got a first down. Little creativity as he dumped it off to the tight end, Ed Dixon.
The Cardinals like to bring pressure on 3rd down, in particular on 3rd and 7. You're going to see it from the top of your screen. Mike Davis does a good job in blitz pickup, and then it's just the creativity of Wilson flipping the ball out to Dixon. He uses that strong, stiff arm to pick up the additional yards.
First down at the 44. Chris Carson back in. Wilson has it, throws, and it's complete to Teron Brown, the former Arizona Cardinal. Brown in his first year with Seattle. He was signed as an undrafted free agent out of college by the Arizona Cardinals. Went to Clemson. And has given the Seahawks good depth at wide receiver this year. 2nd and 3 across midfield. It's Carson. And he is stopped for no gain. Good play by Deone Buchanan.
And you look at the Seattle Seahawks this year, you know, one of the things where I think they've improved upon with their running game is being in more 3rd and manageable, and that's what they find themselves in now. Obviously, weren't able to get a lot of production on the last play, but still, you really have your entire playbook still in. Sitting at 3rd and 3. The Seahawks a lot of options.
Got to look at Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, his first year in that role with the Seahawks. That pass is intercepted. On the takeaway, David Emerson is brought down inside the 30 at the 27.
And what a break by David Emerson, the veteran who's come on to the Cardinals this year in relief, and he's gotten a lot of work. You're going to see it's essentially going to be a little bit of a rub route. With Emerson playing off, it allows him the opportunity to cut to the inside of the ball, and the question is going to be, did he get there a little bit too early? I think some of the Seahawks fans here in CenturyLink feel like he did.
Only the 7th interception thrown by Russell Wilson, and only the 11th turnover by the Seahawks.
Yeah, and really 10 was the NFL record. They're hoping to maintain that without turning the football over. That's something where they've been tremendous at, but another area is sudden change. Their defense typically does a good job stepping up and getting off the field and forcing a field goal in these scenarios.
So the Cardinals defense gives Josh Rosen a short field. Off the play fake. Rosen puts it up, and it is incomplete. As he overthrew Trent Sherfield, a rookie out of Vanderbilt. Trey Flowers, another rookie, was covering on the play.
Rookie on rookie, and what a transition Trey Flowers has made in his career. A former safety at Oklahoma State. He's tall at 6'3", 200 pounds maybe. He's physical. They love his skill set. Thought he was the best athlete at the defensive back position this past year's draft.
Two tight ends in. They motion Larry Fitzgerald. Hand it off to David Johnson. He burrows his way inside the 25. Bring up a third down and about 7. Seattle defense, they've gone through a big changeover from the Legion of Boom. We mentioned Trey Flowers, Shaquille Griffin, second-year man on the other corner. They've done a great job this season.
And Dwayne O'Hale getting a second start the past 2 weeks. He's done a good job filling in for Tedrick Thompson.
Here's 3rd and 7. Rosen with time, throwing short, and the catch is made by Chad Williams. And he's got a first down at the 16-yard line.
Really, it's just going to be an under route by Chad Williams on the outside, working against Trey Flowers. He gets him to do a baseball turn, and it creates enough separation and an accurate enough football by Rosen for the first down.
Cardinals have had the fewest possessions in the red zone of any team in the NFL this season. This is only their 27th. They've had a good scoring percentage. Off the play fake, Josh Rosen throws just off the fingertips of Chad Williams. Williams, second-year wide receiver out of Grambling.
One of the things that's just been off for this Arizona Cardinals offense, outside of the fact that they haven't been able to protect Rosen, they haven't been able to run the football, is the timing elements in the red zone. And that's something that's hard for a rookie to do in this condensed portion of the field, is be able to have that pinpoint accuracy and the timing that you need. It takes time to develop that with your wide receivers.
3 wide receivers, all to the left. They motion Fitzgerald. David Johnson ran into his own man, stuffed on the play and dropped for a loss. Shaquille Griffin, again, another outstanding play. It'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Cardinals.
And this is that area of the field where if you're the Cardinals, you got to be thinking about Larry Fitzgerald. He's the most reliable receiver on your team. You know the Seahawks are thinking that too. He's going to get a lot of attention in this portion of the field. But if you're Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator for the Cardinals, you got to find a way of isolating him and getting him open.
The tight end is John Phillips to the right. 3 wide receivers in. Rosen throws and overthrows Larry Fitzgerald. He did, as you said, try to get it to Larry, but the pass too far. And the Cardinals will bring on the field goal kicking unit.
Yeah, a little too much mustard on that one for Josh Rosen, but Justin Coleman in coverage, really wasn't much separation, and he's been one of the more underrated nickelbacks in the league. Really has done a good job of trying to lock down most slot wide receivers. In that case, a good job of preventing any sort of big play to Fitzgerald.
Shane Gonzalez in for the field goal attempt from 36. And the kick is right through, and the Arizona Cardinals take the lead midway through this first quarter. Russell Wilson had David Emerson take the ball away for the interception. It led to 3 points for Arizona.
A Game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's.
Seahawks are in the playoffs. They know that. If they win, they'll be the 5 seed, and they will go to Dallas and play the Cowboys. If they lose and the Vikings win, the Vikings get the 5 seed, and on to Chicago for Seattle.
Yeah, a place they lost earlier this year, and you got to think that factors in a little bit. Having to play in a cold, windy place like Chicago versus an indoor place like Dallas. Granted, Dallas different team at home, but still, Seattle had success against them earlier this year.
Gonzalez kicks it off. Tyler Lockett takes it out from 1 yard deep. And he is brought down close to the 25-yard line. For Seattle, they've played Chicago early, week 2. That was when they didn't have their game quite together yet. They beat Dallas in a game where they got their running game going in week 3.
Yeah, that's kind of the beginning of when I feel like the Seattle Seahawks began to hit their stride. When you talk to Russell Wilson, he really talks about the trip to London, taking on the Oakland Raiders, when this team really bonded, came together, and all of a sudden they really saw the vision for what they could do the rest of this year.
Chris Carson on the carry. Carson, the first 1,000-yard rusher for the Seahawks since Marshawn Lynch in the 2014 season.
And when you talk to offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, he said, look, it took a while to kind of figure some things out. You know, initially, we're installing an offense where we wanted to keep some of the verbiage the same. Some of it was going to change. Everyone had to deal with that. But the philosophy, the technique, as we talked about with offensive line coach Mike Solari, all that changed.
Not much on the carry that time. Right now it's time for a game break to check in on the Bears and the Vikings. Let's go to Carissa Thompson in L.A.
Thanks, Sam. A game I'll keep you updated on all day long. So if the Vikings win and Seattle loses, the Vikings get the 5 seed. This doesn't help. Trubisky hands it off to Jordan Howard, who scores from 6 yards out. Bears up early, 7-0. Sam, Brady, and Lisa.
Thanks, Carissa. Bears have had a terrific season.
They have, and you see them run the football, and that's something that's been a little inconsistent for them when you compare them to the Seahawks. I've been able to consistently run the football.
On 3rd and 6, Wilson in trouble, and he's sacked on the blitz by Dayon Buchanan.
This is one of the issues you have when you've got a couple quick people out on your offensive line. It's the chemistry and communication. Check out number 20. He comes scot-free to Russell Wilson. And even as elusive as Wilson is, and that's on Ethan Posick, there's not really much you can do at that standpoint.
So 2 offensive series for the Seahawks, an interception and a 3-and-out. Michael Dixon with the punt to Farrell Cooper. Cooper looking to return, is swarmed under at the 38-yard line. Arizona defense coming up with big plays, an interception, and then a sack. Larry Fitzgerald, as we said right at the top, one of the all-time greats. He will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. He's been a superstar in this game, Brady.
And just look at his ability to high-point the football, catch the football, some of the best hands I've ever seen in the NFL.
And respected by everyone. Everyone talks about his persona, his character, and what he brings to the team, the community, and the league. 2 rookies in the lineup at wide receiver as well. David Johnson on the carry gets a couple of yards up to the 41-yard line. Shaquille Griffin, second-year cornerback. And we talked about the change in the secondary, where the Seattle Seahawks had the star players, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, a Legion of Boom, and now they're changing over to younger players who are doing a terrific job.
Yeah, they've been able to learn this scheme, adapt on the fly really over the past year now, and started to find themselves.
They fake the end around, and the pass too high for David Johnson. Malachi Dupre, number 15, making his NFL debut in the lineup. First-year man out of LSU was the man on the end around. You're looking at the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Steve Wilks, and the rumors very strong that he will be let go after this game.
Yeah, and unfair when you really see what they're dealing with. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback that got thrusted in earlier than they thought. All the issues they've had on their offensive line this year, moving parts, and a defense trying to go from a 3-4 to a 4-3. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes more than just a season.
3rd and 7, Chad Williams, the motion man, Josh Rosen drops it off to Williams. But he's brought down short of the first down. About a yard and a half short. Akeem King with a stop on Chad Williams.
Defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. decided to bring a pressure. Seattle doesn't bring a ton, but when you're facing a rookie quarterback, you want to test him, Sam. So you're going to see the blitz come from this side of the field. And Rosen wisely finds the shallow cross, but it's King coming up and making a tackle. And now we're going to see the Arizona Cardinals going for it on fourth down.
They are 5 for 14 on fourth downs this season. A yard and a half away. The play fake. Josh Rosen looking in trouble. And the pass incomplete. Larry Fitzgerald was down on the sideline. The Cardinals wanted a flag, but no flag on the play. The Seahawks defense gets pressure on Josh Rosen. He misses the pass for Fitzgerald. And the Seahawks take over on down.
Game is sponsored by T-Mobile. Whether you're home or away, T-Mobile has you covered. And by Burger King. Try the new $6 King Box only at Burger King.
Josh Rosen, who failed to connect with Larry Fitzgerald on the fourth down pass.
You got to give him credit, though. You know, Frank Clark had a beat on him. I think Josh Rosen's proven this year he's more mobile than people realize. He's had to be in order to survive. But almost a miracle even got that last throw off.
Seahawks take over in plus territory at the 48. Two tight ends in the lineup. Off the play fake. Wilson throws short to one of those tight ends. That's Nick Vanette. And Vanette gets inside the 40. Or just short of the 40 at the 41-yard line.
That's the illusion of the tight ends here in Seattle. You know, when you see Nick Vanette or Ed Dixon, I mean, those guys are in there largely for some run blocking and also releasing out, catching balls in the passing game, because when they want to run the football, it's typically been George Fant who's been that extra tight end today.
Yeah.
Might be Joey Hunt.
Two wide receivers left, Baldwin and Lockett. The handoff inside and then taking it outside is McKissick. DJ McKissick gets inside the 40 down to the 38. We've got an update coming your way from LA. Let's go to Kurt Menefee, see what the Rams are doing. Kurt.
Well, they're scoring again. The 49ers turned it over in their first two possessions, and the Rams turned it into two touchdowns. That 1-yarder from C.J. Anderson makes it 14-0 in the first quarter. As you know, if the Rams win, they clinch the number 2 seed. Sam and Brady.
Thanks, Kurt. And if they clinch that number 2 seed, that means a bye in the first week of the playoffs.
You take a look at Gerald Hodges, who's getting up, walking off on his own power, though. It's always a good sign. And honestly, it's your worst nightmare. When you're a 3-win team, you just want to get through week 17 healthy, because otherwise, if you get hurt and you've got to hang around them the offseason, the rest of the year, rehabbing and all that, it's never fun. You don't really get a break, and it's obviously been a frustrating year the Cardinals in general.
We talked to talking to Steve Wilks. He's been very focused. He's been focused on getting his players ready, and you can see Arizona's ready to play.
Yeah.
And he's been focused on the games. He said he shuts out the noise that's been around the team. Here's 3rd and 1 for the Seahawks. And the handoff to Chris Carson has got the first down at the 36-yard line.
To your point, Sam, I think the one thing that you notice in watching film of this Cardinals team is they're still playing hard. You know, that doesn't mean the results are always going to come, and that's the most frustrating part, is they're doing all they can to try to win football games. But you've had over 300 transactions this year on their roster. You've got too many new guys coming in. I mean, Justin Pugh, one of their offensive linemen, joked they had to ask on this group text message who some of these guys' names were on this thing.
3 wide receivers in. Mike Davis is the running back. Russell Wilson looking deep. Puts it up for David Moore and just overthrows him. He was covered by David Amerson on the play.
It's that area of that field where you love to take a shot when you're on offense. They tried to utilize a double move by David Moore working on Amerson. They thought maybe after that interception, maybe he's willing to jump something, but Amerson, the savvy vet, wasn't fooled.
David Moore, a 7th-round draft pick, has really stepped up for the Seahawks this year and added to that wide receiver depth we talked about earlier. The handoff inside, bursting through is Mike Davis down to the 29-yard line.
And he's every bit of a downhill runner. That's his attribute. That's really what makes him special. He's only 5'9", but he's 215 pounds. He's got that low center of gravity. Once he gets ahead of steam, he is a physical runner.
Seahawks have rushed for 41 yards of the 46 yards they've had thus far.
Keep it.
Spread the offense. Wilson with time, throws wide open. Touchdown, Tyler Lockett. $29-yard touchdown pass. Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett.
And this just really comes down to a miscommunication in the Cardinals secondary. Right here, these two players, they're not sure who has who going deep and who's going to stay short. No one carries the seam in your post-tie coverage, and that's going to be an issue. And that gets a little bit of confetti there for Tyler Lockett, but doesn't get much easier than that. And this has been a connection that's developed over the course of the season for these two.
10 touchdown passes caught by Lockett. The extra point is good, and the Seahawks have taken the lead on the Arizona Cardinals. Lockett can celebrate the touchdown. Russell Wilson's 196th career touchdown pass, setting the franchise record for the Seattle Seahawks. He had been tied with David Craig. 74 career wins, 8 career playoff wins. That's more than the entire Arizona Cardinals franchise has had in their history.
It's been remarkable when you think about Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, what they've done since he got here in 2012. I mean, 3 division titles, they've been to 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl. I mean, it's remarkable. It's the closest thing the NFC's version has to kind of a Brady Belichick.
Janikowski's kick to TJ Logan. He lets it go through for a touchback. Cardinals will start at the 25. Final day of the regular season, and here's what the NFC playoff picture looks like. Everything goes through Seattle for the Saints. They've got home field throughout. Rams need a win today. They will clinch the number 2 seed and get a bye in the first week. The Bears looking at number 3. Cowboys would be 4 right now. Seattle 5, Minnesota 6. But there are games going on. The Bears are in Minnesota, and of course, Seattle here looking for a win. Chase Edmonds in at running back for the Cardinals. Takes the handoff. And always, if you look at the bottom of your screen, we will let you know what the Bears and Vikings are doing in Minnesota. Right now, the Bears leading the Vikings 7-0.
Yeah, and the thing for the Seahawks that's on the line, and this is going to sound a little bit nuts, but if they win, they need to get that 5 seed, so they know they're going to be playing Dallas and Dallas. But it's also about the fact that the outside chance that if in the division round, if both those teams could win, Seattle and maybe Minnesota would be a 6 seed. If they could beat the Bears, then you'd have home field over that 6 seed in the divisional round.
That's a little bit nuts, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Chase Edmonds on the carry again. Edmonds, the rookie from Fordham, 4th-round draft pick.
You never know. It's the NFL.
No,
any team can beat any team. You start that new tournament once you get into the postseason. So.
Just get in. It all starts 0-0 next week. And we'll have a playoff game for you in the wild card round on Fox. Frank Clark, 12.5 sacks. The big pass rusher for the Seahawks. Crowd gets loud. 3rd and 3. Everybody out. The pass is caught by Larry Fitzgerald. And the streak continues. 227 consecutive games in which Larry Fitzgerald has caught a pass. End of the first quarter. Seahawks lead the Cardinals 7-3. What a streak for Larry Fitzgerald. 227 consecutive games in which he's had a catch.
It speaks to a number of things, not only his durability and his ability to always be in there and always be available, but he transitioned from being an outside wide receiver to playing the slot, and I think that's prolonged his career and prolonged his ability to still be able to be as impactful as he is. As he lost maybe some of that speed, he still has the savvy and the wisdom of knowing where to sit. And really the best thing I think he does better than almost any receiver in the NFL is the contested catch. Just throw it in his vicinity.
First down for the Cardinals on their 36. Josh Rosen, quick throw outside, completes it to Larry Fitzgerald. The one thing in our conversation with Larry is that he really loves Sundays. And that's what he said. He loves Sundays. Now, the process, the workouts, the preseason.
Not so much.
Not as much as he used to.
He's 15 years into it, so you kind of expect that. But I was talking with him probably a month ago, and he had mentioned that, playing in Arizona, too, has been part of what's prolonged his career. A lot of grass surfaces there they practice on, the sunshine, the warmth. So we were looking at Shaquille Griffin coming off the field. It looked like the way he landed on the opposite sideline. He got up a little bit gingerly.
Griffin limps off and will be checked out. He's replaced by Akeem King. 2nd and 5 for the Cardinals at the 41-yard line. Chase Edmonds slipped, and he's brought down short of the line of scrimmage. Jacob Martin, the rookie out of Temple.
How about that?
Stop.
His first tackle. And that's really in Week 17, whether you're the Cardinals, a team that obviously has no postseason aspirations, but also for the Seahawks. Just a team that's got some players on the roster they're going to want to check out once this year is over with, whose maybe contracts are up. You get to see a glimpse of what those guys are capable of.
3rd and 5. David Johnson back in at running back. Josh Rosen steps up and he's brought down. Sacked back at the 35-yard line.
How about that for 2 plays in a row for Jacob Martin? He gets his first tackle, followed by his first sack for the rookie out of Temple. And really, it's the speed off of the edge. Watch as he gets up, gets low and around. The strong chop. See those long arms to get his hand around Rosen. Remember, too, you can grab a quarterback up around the back of his collar. There's no horse collar for a quarterback when he's in the pocket, and Frank Clark opportunistic there to get the football.
Will Holden was the man who got beat on the rush, and the fumble recovered as the Seahawks lead the NFL in takeaway, giveaway, turnover differential. On the carry is Chris Carson. Flag on the play. Our first flag. We get a chance to introduce Ron Torbert, who's in his 9th season in the NFL, his 5th
holding
as a referee.
Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Ethan Posick, the left guard, called for the hold.
And I believe he was working on a guy who just got brought up to the active roster for the Cardinals, Basoni Tassini. Posick in at left guard for J.R. Sweezy. 2nd-year player out of LSU. They feel comfortable, much more confident, some of these guys. Now they've got a little more seasoning, but still working out some of the kinks.
The man in the middle is Justin Britt, who's been solid at center all season long for the Seahawks. Carson goes outside and turns the corner and is down at the 35-yard line.
Well, and this, is some of the issues you go through when you're trying to challenge your defense to deal with a different scheme. Look out, there's no edge defender on this side. There's no one to really set a wall. And that's one of the issues when you've got Dora, a guy who's a first-year player, very inexperienced, who's playing in there for Marcus Golden and Benson Mayowa. He's not keeping the outside contained. It ends up being a big run, making it too easy on the #1 rushing offense in the league.
Dora was brought up from the practice squad a month ago. Russell Wilson with time, throws, and wide open. He hits Doug Baldwin out of bounds at the 24, right at the first down marker.
There seems to be a little bit of miscommunication between Patrick Peterson and the seam defender on that side of the field. They almost turned Tyler Lockett free once again, if not for Peterson rushing back. Watch him in coverage. See, he's hanging on Baldwin. Then you see there's Lockett with all that space, and if not for Peterson making that move back, Russell Wilson's throwing that football for another touchdown pass.
First down at the 24. Wilson rolls, throws over the middle and completes it. Baldwin spins down to the 7-yard line. Boy, that has turned into a great combination. It's been there. They've worked together for so long.
Yeah, and it's just a crossing route, and really Trey Boston, who's the middle field safety, he's got to come down to take that. Making it too easy right now on Russell Wilson in this offense. They're looking at trying to punch their ticket and get it into the end zone.
A lot of repetitions between those two guys. A great pair.
Don't be surprised if we don't see them target Baldwin at another point.
Carson inside, and he is in for the touchdown. He broke Hassan Reddick's tackle and stayed on his feet.
This is what happens when you've got a quarterback that can run the football. You can hold one of the defenders on the defense on the backside. And it just comes down to watch the offensive line here. Everyone's going to block down, and then you're going to see Russell Wilson be able to hold Antoine Buffet, and it's only one defender that Chris Carson has to beat to get in the end zone. The question will be, was his knee down before the ball crossed the plane?
Okay.
This is going to be close. But I think he's in.
The call on the field is touchdown. And is there enough to reverse it? Let's see. That looks good. You're right.
It looks like he gets the tip of the football almost halfway across the goal line for the score.
And it has been confirmed it is a touchdown. The 9th rushing touchdown of the season for Chris Carson. Janikowski's extra point is good. And the Seahawks, with back-to-back touchdowns, have grabbed a 14-3 lead. Chris Carson strong to the goal line. Here's what's going on in this wild card race in the NFC. The Bears are leading the Vikings 7-0 second quarter. Eagles ahead of the Redskins. Hey, the Vikings could wind up out, and the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, could sneak in to the number 6 spot.
Yeah, all of a sudden Nick Foles is trying to put together some sort of another improbable run. There's no love lost, though, between the Vikings and Bears, so I'm sure the Bears would love to knock the Vikings out of the playoff contention.
Right here, you can't give the Seahawks a short field, and they've had 2 short fields. One they took over on downs, the other on the fumble recovery. And the Seahawks have a 14-3 lead. Tomorrow, the Red Box Bowl kicks off between Oregon and Michigan State at 2:30 Eastern Time on Fox. And guess who'll be there? My man, Brady Quinn. He's going to Santa Clara. After that, flip over to FS1, and number 17 Utah takes on number 22 Northwestern in the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl, 6:30 Eastern, or catch it all on Fox Sports app.
It's going to be a busy 24 hours for me, but some interesting news as far as head coaching search and all. Pat Fitzgerald, head coach of Northwestern, rumored to be maybe interviewing for the Green Bay Packers job.
Okay. More on that tomorrow. David Johnson on the carry. Gets up to the 28-yard line. There is Shaquille Griffin. Looks like he's okay. Would they bring him back in this game? That's always the question mark. I know that Pete Carroll has that attitude, wants the guys to stay sharp and ready for the playoffs.
Not the way this game's going. I don't think you need to, and I think that's the risk you run. You play some of these star players, your starters, and you can't sit them all. But you run the risk of someone getting injured and not being available next week when you really need him.
Derek Coleman is in at fullback. Off the play fake. Josh Rosen's pass is complete. Up to the 43-yard line. A first down on the catch by Chad Williams, who's had a good game thus far.
And the success of this play comes from the run on first down, having success there. because it's a play action, and what that does is it freezes KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner just enough to create a window in the back end for the completion.
What are your thoughts on Josh Rosen? We haven't gotten into him. This is his final game. He took over in Game 3, started Game 4, his first NFL start.
Look, I think he's made progress, but it's been tough. Given some of the disadvantages that he has out around him, it's a tough situation to play quarterback in for a rookie or a veteran.
Rosen throws, just missed. Chad Williams. Time for a quick game break. Let's go to L.A. Kurt Menefee standing by. Kurt.
Speaking of quick, Lamar Jackson quickly runs it in from 8 yards out. His second touchdown of the game. Baltimore up 17-7 early on Cleveland in the second quarter. Of course, if the Ravens win this game, they wrap up the AFC North. Sam and Brady.
Interesting scenarios. Thanks, Kurt. And Baltimore, Cleveland went in with a little bravado. We're going to show Baltimore.
Yeah, if not for a missed kicker this year by Zane Gonzalez, now the kicker for the Cardinals, that game would be actually for the AFC North.
Right. Rosen was blitzed, got rid of it to David Johnson, and he gets up to the 45-yard line. Now, we talked about Arizona and the problems they've had on the offensive line. Here's what it looked like Week 4 against Seattle. None of those guys are there. Mason Cole is.
Yeah,
Mason Cole is hung in there.
He's the only one that still is, and then you see what you're dealing with today. And Barksdale and Ibushi was with the Seattle Seahawks to begin this year. He's since moved around a little bit. And you got a rookie at guard, Kobe Gossett, and then obviously Will Holden, a second-year player, but a lot of moving parts, a lot of issues with trying to develop the chemistry and give Josh Rosen the protection that he needs.
There's 3rd and 9 for the Cardinals. Rosen, they stop the play.
This is one of the loudest stadiums, if not the loudest.
Arizona called its first charge timeout of the half.
In the NFL. And so you always wonder crowd noise, especially for a rookie quarterback and a young offensive line, if that's going to be an issue for these guys. Being able to hear the cadence or even the silent count, not allowing the defense to get a jump.
Let's check in with Lisa Byington on the sideline. Lisa, what's going on?
Yeah, well, Shaquille Griffin, you guys had talked about it. He was listed as questionable here on the sideline with a right ankle injury. Now, I watched him kind of go through a warm-up, a sprints right behind the bench. He looked fine, and it almost appeared to me that he was trying to plead his case to the coaching staff and letting them know that he was okay. They seem to be a little bit, though, reluctant to let him in. And as the mash pit of the secondary continues here for Seattle, it's certainly some considerations they have to make in this game here today.
Thanks, Lisa. Ken Norton Jr. is the defensive coordinator, his first year in that role here. And he's done a good job with his team. Here's 3rd and 9. Rosen has time, throws off the fingertips of Larry Fitzgerald, incomplete. Covered by Justin Coleman.
Once again, Seattle decides to bring a pressure, but it was good enough protection, and actually it was a pretty darn good throw. Just not quite able to get it down, but Coleman is underneath, and it forces Rosen to have to put this ball up over the top, and Fitzgerald with such good hands can't quite bring that one in.
Time for that one-hand catch. Just incomplete. Andy Lee, who's had a great season punting. Fair catch called for by Tyler Lockett. Back at the 12 to 13-yard line. Oh, Josh Rosen wanted that completion of Larry Fitzgerald. Didn't get it. Quite a ride for Russell Wilson. 7 years in the NFL. And a lot of winning numbers. 8 playoff wins, more than those other organizations, other franchises have had. 7 years in the NFL, 7 winning seasons for Russell Wilson.
And he plays his best football in the most meaningful portion of the game, the fourth quarter. This guy has really got it all.
Rashad Penny in running back, the rookie out of San Diego State, who just happens to have David Johnson's jersey hanging in his locker. Rashad Penny, no gain on the play. Rodney Gunter on the stop. His brother Elijah, friends with David Johnson, and David has been kind of a a mentor to Rashad Penny, helping him in his rookie year.
Yeah, they've texted throughout the course of the season, and because of that, he pays homage to him by hanging up his jersey in his locker. So kind of neat little backstory.
Yeah. Spread the offense. Now they bring Penny back in the backfield. The delayed handoff. Gain of a yard on the play. Let's check in with Lisa, who's got a little more on that story.
Yeah, well, I even asked Rashad, do your teammates kind of give you a hard time about having the opposing running back's jersey in your locker on a week like this? And he said, no, they understand. And, you know, he wouldn't even entertain taking the jersey down because he told me, I look up to David. He's a dynamic running back. He's also my size. I absolutely want to be in the same position that he's in.
Nice.
Yeah,
like
that's good company if you're similar to David Johnson with his skill set and what he's been able to do.
Here's 3rd and 9. The blitz coming, and down goes Russell Wilson for the second time. Antoine Bethea, the leading tackler on this Arizona defense, comes in and breaks down Russell Wilson.
And it's really going to be pressure off of the edge, and it's going to be a lack of blocking. In this case, it was really Mike Davis. He had his eyes outside. Dixon had Budda Baker on the outside, but then it became, excuse me, yeah, it's Budda Baker, and then it was Antoine Bethea just able to have a direct shot to Russell Wilson. It's the toughest task you have as a running back, discerning who's your responsibility back there after the snap of the football.
Michael Dixon, it's partially blocked. The ball bounces down at the 20 and is down at the 27-yard line. Great job by the Arizona Cardinals special teams as they get the block on Michael Dixon's punt. And the Cardinals will have the ball at the 27-yard line.
Anyone was questioning whether or not this Arizona Cardinals team, again, is still fired up, still trying to play hard and win football games. And this is just one example of that. This team's doing everything they can. That was Dennis Gardeck that ended up getting a hand in on the football.
Rookie.
We talked about at the beginning of the game, though. I mean, Arizona's won their last 3 trips up here in CenturyLink.
So a short field for Josh Rosen and the Cardinals for the second time. The end around to Chad Williams. He gets inside the 20 and is ridden down at the 18-yard line.
It's a good play call by offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich. You know, Seattle was short a player, and once they motioned Chad Williams across, forced all of a sudden Akeem King to run with him, and he was the guy who was going to be responsible for him for that side of the field.
Byron Leftwich took over for Mike McCoy in the middle of the season. That's another big change.
It's not his offense. You know, he's doing the best he can. His roots really go back to Bruce Arians, which is very different. So he's doing the best he can at, you know, running from a week-to-week basis, an offense that's really someone else's.
They motion Sherfield on 2nd and 1. David Johnson, nice cutback, first down across the 15-yard line. David Johnson, 2 years ago, had the tremendous season and then had the wrist injury that forced him to miss most of last season. He's come back.
He was a legitimate MVP candidate a few years ago.
Yeah.
Looking almost 1,000 yards rushing and receiving, and you know, they do a bunch of different things with him. They'll split him out, they'll release him out of the backfield. And he's a target down here in the red zone of passing game.
Started this game with 878 yards. Play fake by Rosen. With time, he's got a man. Larry Fitzgerald, touchdown. Beautiful fake, and Larry Fitzgerald wide open for the TD.
And this is all about the fake and the mesh. And see how he comes down to block, and then he's going to sneak and release up. And you got the inexperienced corner and Akeem King, who's got his eyes in the backfield. Remember, he came in for Shaquille Griffin. He's taking advantage of a less experienced player. This time, not too much on it for Larry Fitzgerald with the one-handed stab.
He's got the soft hands. The extra point by Zane Gonzalez is good. The Cardinals cut the Seahawks lead down to 4 on the beautiful pass and catch. Rosen to Fitzgerald.
Sponsored by Chevy. Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards across cars, trucks, and SUVs. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
116 career touchdown catches for Larry Fitzgerald. Ties him for 6th all-time with the Chargers' all-time great Antonio Gates.
He loves playing here. I mean, he talked about how much of a hostile environment it is. And he really plays into that, plays up to it.
Yeah. Loves the energy of the stadium. And that's part of that streak that we talked about. Cardinals, 3 wins in a row, 4 of the last 5 visits here. They've won. Gonzalez kickoff. Tyler Lockett on the return. And he's brought down just across the 16. Cardinals are fired up here. Joe Walker, backup linebacker with a tackle.
You know, Sam, we hit on it earlier, just Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, the combination of the two, and what it's meant for this franchise. I mean, look at what they've been able to accomplish since 2012. You said it earlier, they've never had a losing season. They've won 3 division titles, 2 NFC championships, they won a Super Bowl, a play away from maybe winning 2, and now they find themselves again playing in the postseason. See exactly where their seat is, but what a remarkable job and what a tremendous job really Pete Carroll's done with the transition of the roster, changes on the coaching staff, but still having success.
Pete Carroll in the playoffs, 7th time in 9 seasons here. Carson trying to get outside, not much there. Good job by the Cardinals defense stretching out the play. Corey Peters ran it down, the defensive lineman. There's big Corey, 9th year out of Kentucky.
These guys are taking advantage of an offensive line for Seattle that's got some chemistry issues right now of their own, with a couple of guys playing spot work. In for DJ Fluker as well as J.R. Sweezy.
For Arizona, Gerald Hodges back in at middle linebacker, number 51. Coming outside is Tyler Lockett on the end around, and he gets up close to the 20-yard line. Tyler Lockett in his 4th year.
What a progression he's made in his career. Really developed as a wide receiver, one of the better deep ball catchers, as well as just forcing defensive pass interference. Leads the league in drawing those PI flags.
Mike Davis in at running back on 3rd down. Wilson being rushed, down he goes. 3rd sack of the game. And this one is Rodney Gunter. Boy, they've been getting through on the inside.
You know, and he had Doug Baldwin. He was motioning across. He was going to sit in the void wide open, but Gunter was able to get to him. And it's the double A gaps. It's really Hassan Riddick and Deion Buchanan up over the center that's forcing these one-on-one matches up front. And right now, the Arizona Cardinals are winning.
Gunter with his 2nd sack of the game. Dixon being rushed again, got it away. And on the return, Farrell Cooper. Trying to go wide and makes the turn. Cooper inside the 40. He spun around and forced out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Outstanding return by Farrell Cooper in his 2nd game as an Arizona Cardinal.
Sam, you mentioned it. They almost got to Dixon again. Remember the last time that ball got tipped? And the amazing part is typically when you rush, you can't set up as good of a return, but the Cardinals, they get back and they're able to set up a sideline return towards their sideline. And Cooper's got the speed and the vision to find it. Boy, see an addition to this team, providing a little bit of a spark to this offense.
45-yard return by Farrell Cooper. David Johnson, the running back. Cardinals doing a lot of good things out there. Here's Johnson. Stopped for no gain.
Yeah, but the key for the Cardinals is they can't give up on the running game. I know they didn't get much production there, but for Byron Leftwich, you know, you go back to the last series. and they're able to utilize the play action pass to hit Fitzgerald for a touchdown. So, even though you don't get much from it, it's still, you can build on that in the play action pass game, and eventually they're trying to wear down the defensive front for the Seattle Seahawks.
Crowd urging on the Seahawks defense. 2 tight ends in for the Cardinals. John Phillips and Darrell Daniels. Rosen swings it out to David Johnson. Brought down on a beautiful tackle by K.J. Wright.
What you call this is a swing screen, and what that means is your tackle's going to release out, and he's going to try to block the defender who's going to be responsible for the running back. In this case, it's K.J. Wright. You see Joe Barksdale trying to get out in space, but K.J. Wright, too athletic, and a nose for the football there.
Brings up a 3rd and 15. Chase Edmonds in at the running back position. Josh Rosen trying to get the signals to everybody despite the noise, but we've hit the 2-minute warning. The Seahawks have the lead. The Cardinals threatening to take it away.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the playoff puzzle is starting to come together, although in the AFC, #1 seed is still up for grabs. It'll be either the Chiefs or the Chargers, while the Ravens and Steelers are simply fighting to make it to the postseason. We'll piece it together for you coming up on the Visa halftime.
Thanks, Kurt. We're back here at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. Sam Rosen, Brady Quinn, Lisa Byington. Glad you're with us. A nice outfit. Like that. Here's a big 3rd and 15 for the Cardinals. Josh Rosen in trouble. They got him. Frank Clark got there first. The leading sack man for the Seahawks.
And it's the spin move. Watch this by Frank Clark. This is just phenomenal. Again, basically just abusing right now their left tackle, Will Holden. It's tough to stop whether you're a franchise left tackle or not. Frank Clark has really put himself in a position after this year to potentially get a big payday or a big franchise tag.
Cardinals will attempt a 50-yard field goal. Zane Gonzalez, Aaron Brewer is the long snapper. The kick is on the way, and it's good. Right down the middle. So the score now 14-13. Seahawks leading it. We'll be right back after this message from Farmers. Back here in Seattle, the Cardinals trailing the Seahawks 14-13. Cardinals have done a lot of good things, but the 2 times they've had to settle for field goals, that could cost them in the long run.
Yeah, and that's been the issue again for their Cardinals this year, is really their inability to get stuff going once they get down into the red zone. They haven't really been down there that often. Typically, earlier this year, they're a little bit better at finding ways of getting touchdowns. We saw one to Larry Fitzgerald, but just haven't really been able to capitalize on the short fields.
Yeah.
You're a team like the Cardinals, a 3-win team. You can't afford to not take advantage of those opportunities on the road against an opponent that's going into the postseason.
Is Larry enjoying himself for what? Look at him. He's having a great time. Gonzalez's kick is down for a touchback. We check in with Carissa Thompson for an update. Carissa.
Thanks, Sam. So let me get you an update here on this 6th seed. Trubisky hands it off to Jordan Howard, who scores from 1 yard out. They'd missed the field goal. They're up 13-0. Meanwhile, Nick Foles will find Alshon Jeffrey for this 2-yard score. Eagles up 10-0. If this holds, the Eagles make the playoffs, and the Vikings would be out. Sam, Brady, and Lisa.
What a story Nick Foles is writing. Thanks, Carissa. And right now, Minnesota in some trouble here. Now the Seahawks. And the pass incomplete, intended for Mike Davis out of the backfield. Hassan Reddick, another Temple man, covering on the play.
And this is just a drop. There's no other way of putting it. Can't throw it much better. Also, Wilson even took a little bit off that. A lot of times you got to do it to the running backs. They're quite as good as the wide receivers and tight ends catching the football.
Russell Wilson, 5 for 9, 69 yards thus far. Has time. Out to Davis. He holds on and dives for the first down marker, but stepped out of bounds just across the 31-yard line.
The biggest key is he was able to stop the clock. This time kind of redeeming himself for the drop just to play a go. This Cardinals defense, though, they're not really giving up much downfield besides a couple potential miscommunications. Done a better job now of responding to the Seahawks offense.
3rd and 3. Seahawks have all their timeouts. Lockett motions. Wilson under pressure, and they got him. 4th sack of the game for the Cardinals. Chandler Jones, who came away with the ball, but
well, it's Vontarius Dorr that starts it, but check out the right side of the offensive line. Jones is going to eventually get to him, but Dorr rushes back inside and forces Wilson off the spot, and at that point, he just puts his head down and tries to scramble.
Now let's see if they give Chandler Jones, Chandler Jones will get that sack. That'll be $20,000 to Phoenix Children's Hospital, which he's pledged.
How cool is that?
Yes.
Big play for Chandler Jones. Big night last night for his brother, John Bone Jones. Won the lightweight championship there at the UFC.
So it's 3 and out for the Seahawks. Once again, the Cardinals defense coming up. They've come up with a turnover in this game. They've come up with a block punt. The special teams coming through. They've done a good job. Farrell Cooper, again, looking to get some room on the return, is brought down. Now, for more on Chandler Jones, let's go to the sideline to Lisa Byington.
Well, a big night for his older brother, John Jones, who regained the UFC light heavyweight championship. And brother was so nervous, the whole team was watching in the team meeting room. Not his brother, he was watching by himself in his hotel room. I can tag it too if we have time. The only teammate he let in the room was Corey Peters, a defensive tackle. He said, I literally was biting my fingernails during the whole match.
That was excitement there. Josh Rosen on 1st down connects with the tight end John Phillips. And the hurry-up offense. Cardinals have 1 timeout remaining, have the ball at their 41. Rosen with time, and it's almost intercepted by Justin Coleman.
That was a pretty big risk there. We've seen Justin Coleman playing underneath Larry Fitzgerald in the slot now a number of times. He's really just playing more of trail technique. He's just going to drop underneath, and as Fitzgerald kind of tries to slide to the outside to find the soft spot in the zone coverage, Coleman's got eyes on Rosen the entire way, and just a drop by Coleman.
3rd and 5. Cardinals have to get to the 46 for a 1st down. Wilson with time, throws. What a catch by the tight end, John Phillips. Great leaping catch by Phillips, and it's a 1st down at the Seahawks 34-yard line.
Yeah, only the 2nd of the season, and he's just going to run a little over route. Look at the extension. It's his 2nd catch of the year, and has really, had that in the past month. Sort of get targeted a little bit more. Something that has to do with the injury to Ricky Seals-Jones, him not being active today.
And you look at Josh Rosen throwing the ball with a lot of confidence.
Well, he's done that. I mean, really the entire season he's done that. Now, it's gotten him into some trouble at times. That's why he's got so many interceptions, but that's also a byproduct of, again, being down in games, having to take chances. That's the position that he's been in quite often. But there's no doubt this young man has a ton of talent. He's smart. He has command of the offense.
Ball spotted at the Seahawks 35. 1st down. Three receivers to the right side. Rosen completes it to Sherfield. Trent Sherfield, the rookie out of Vanderbilt. with the catch and steps out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
So with 15 seconds and no timeout, you know, really this ball, you could complete it inbounds, but it has to be a very efficient operation to then get up and clock the football, meaning spike the football. Otherwise, you got to get out of bounds. The tough part is, though, Sam, you can't feel overly confident with the way Zane Gonzalez has kicked this year, still being this far away for a field goal attempt.
Wilson under pressure, throws deep for Chad Williamson, a little too far. He was well covered by Trey Flowers on the play. 11 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so if you're Josh Rosen here, now the biggest key is you cannot take a sack. Whatever you do, get that football out of your hand and out of bounds or incomplete so it stops the clock if you don't get a first down. And for all those guys who are running their routes, they've got to get out of bounds if they catch it inbounds. And the defense, you're going to probably see the Seattle Seahawks try to guard the sidelines and not allow that to happen.
Wilson under pressure, down he goes. And that's going to do it. They're not going to get a chance to kick the field goal. The half is over.
You can't clock it anyways on fourth down. This is turnover on downs.
So they tried one play too many. The Seahawks and Cardinals at halftime. The play of the first half is presented by DirecTV. More for your thing. That's our thing. Larry Fitzgerald with a one-hand grab for an Arizona Cardinals touchdown at halftime. Final game of the regular season. The Cardinals are trailing the Seattle Seahawks 14-13. Larry Fitzgerald with 3 catches in that first half, 1 for a touchdown. Now we go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime, which starts now.
Happy New Year, baby. Happy New Year, baby.
That was today's Game Flow, brought to you by Progressive. Back here in Seattle, moments away from the start of the second half. Sam Rosen along with Brady Quinn, Lisa Byington down on the field. What do you look for here in the second half?
Well, Josh Rosen has to make some better decisions. Already had 1 interception. Obviously, the sack before half takes you away from even having a chance of getting points. And really, Russell Wilson sacked 4 times with a couple backups playing on their offensive line. You got to wonder, with Chicago being up by 10 right now in Minnesota, do you maybe think about pulling him? Maybe a risk of injury, something like that happening to him with as many times he was hit in the first half.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that as we head for the second half. Seahawks with a 14-13 lead. They receive the kickoff to start the second half. Tyler Lockett back deep. Zane Gonzalez kicks it off. And Lockett takes a knee. We take it down to the field to Lisa Byington. Lisa.
Yeah, to answer your question, Brady Quinn, and probably to no one's surprise, Pete Carroll very non-committal about what he would do with his personnel, in particular Russell Wilson, here in the second half. So staying consistent to his message with that all week long. Now, he says that Seattle's got to get back to what we do best, and that's running the ball. On the other side, Steve Wilkes was actually happy with his rush defense in the first half. He said we gave up 1 big breakdown early in the first half, but he gives him a passing grade, getting off blocks, finding the gaps. For the most part, he was happy with Josh Rosen's decision-making, except for taking the sack. He said that's unacceptable. We have to know we have to throw away the ball in that situation.
Little pitch to Chris Carson. Carson angles out of bounds, up at the 27, a pickup of 2 on the play. Seahawks rushed for 63 yards in the first half. Russell Wilson passing 6 for 10, 1 interception, 1 touchdown.
And you look at the matchup coming into this game, we hear Lisa talking about Pete Carroll wanting to get back to the running game. Seattle Seahawks team leads the NFL. They're going against the defense that's the worst in the NFL at stopping the run.
Jerron Brown was in motion. Wilson in trouble. Pass blocked. That was Vontarius Dora, the man who was brought up from the practice squad December the 4th. First-year man out of Louisiana Tech.
And look, Steve Wilks said he was really excited about this young man, the way he's able to play. And they try to utilize a bootleg. He's not fooled by it. He keeps contained. See how he stays to the outside of Russell Wilson. As soon as his hands separate, he gets his hands up to knock the pass down. Well done.
3rd and 8 for the Seahawks. Wilson throws short. David Moore short of the first down. Down at the 36-yard line. 3 and out for the Seahawks. Buda Baker in on the play. Defensively for the Cardinals. This is a homecoming for Buda Baker, who starred here at Bellevue as a high school standout, and then University of Washington. Great collegiate career. Friends and family here. Michael Dixon gets it away. Taken on a bounce. Pharaoh Cooper surrounded. Lost yardage on the return. Back to the 19-yard line. Cardinals get the ball for the first time in the second half. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the big stories. Is this the final game of his career? If it is, he's had a glorious career which will take him right to the Hall of Fame. One of the greatest receivers of all time. 15 seasons. See the numbers: career receptions, yardage, and a winner.
And the thing is, Sam, he could still play for a number of years too if he wants to. It's not like he's slowing down, really.
With the yardage he's picked up today, one of 2 players to have over 2,000 yards receiving against 3 different teams. The only other player is Jerry Rice.
He seems to find himself looped in with Jerry Rice in a lot of different categories. It's good company right there.
3 receivers in for the Cardinals. Second and 7. And movement on the offensive line looked like Joe Barksdale.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
There's no other stadium in the NFL that causes more false starts than CenturyLink. And this place epitomizes that 12th man advantage. And see the crowd. I mean, they're into it every single time their defense is on the field.
You played here. How did you handle it? How did you have to adapt to it?
Communication becomes so vital, and your ability to ensure that everyone understands what they're doing up front, and it really limits your ability to check and change the play at the line of scrimmage because it's so hard to communicate down the line.
Pressure on Josh Rosen. He throws short to David Johnson. The Seahawks rally to the ball. Johnson spins for a couple of extra yards up to the 27-yard line.
It's a heck of an effort by David Johnson to continue to get yards after the catch. Smart by Rosen to find the check. And that's something that they worked on this week in practice, getting the ball out of his hand, not taking negative plays or sacks, and letting David Johnson do the rest. But also Mason Colder center. He was tracking downfield, following the ball, helped lay a block for Johnson to make it within 3rd and manageable.
Here's 3rd and 2 for the Cardinals as they spread the offense. Pressure on Josh Rosen. Able to get away. And he throws too high. He looked like he was out of the pocket, so there'll be no intentional grounding.
I'll tell you what, though, Jacob Martin, who is this guy? This rookie coming in out of Temple. Let's have himself a day. Was the rusher really forced Rosen to get off the spot, and once you do that as a defense, the timing of the play is out the window, and that's where it really forces you to have to create and make something happen, and they couldn't there.
6th round draft pick is Jacob Martin. pocket is deep to receive Andy Lee's punt. Fair catch, wave 4 at the 17-yard line. Excuse me, it's the 23-yard line where they spot it.
Sam, Russell Wilson has been under duress the entire game, and it's been a combination of things. The pressure from this Arizona Cardinals defense, but it's also been some missed assignments, some missed blocks up front by the running backs. The offensive line has got a couple guys subbing in today, some starters who are banged up, and you can see the results. Nothing.
Pete Carroll leads into the game. Mr. Energy along the sidelines. Just signed that contract, the new contract extension through 2021. Russell Wilson, the quarterback, from the 22-yard line, the play fake. Wilson throws, and it's incomplete. Slipping down to the turf was Doug Baldwin, and couldn't hold on to the pass.
I love the play design, though. They're trying to basically isolate two receivers on the opposite side of the field with Baldwin, and it was there. Typically, Doug comes up with this sort of catch. A little low. It's kind of been the story of the game so far for the Seahawks, really Russell Wilson. They just have not been able to find a rhythm.
Yeah. Wilson 7 for 13, 80 yards, 3 wide receivers in the game. 2nd and 10. Short drop. And Wilson in trouble. Able to get away. And throws, and it's incomplete. Out of the hands of Doug Baldwin.
I mean, he's Houdini. I mean, that's the only way of describing Russell Wilson. I have no idea how he gets out of this mess. I was here in 2013 with the Seahawks. I witnessed it firsthand. It's unbelievable. His ability to start and stop, change of direction, and then when he's under duress, he finds Doug Baldwin. But again, a drop by Baldwin, not the easiest catch. This is typically a catch Doug Baldwin makes, and he's been banged up this year. He's suffered through a number of issues, both knees, groin, shoulders, ankle.
Yeah, lately it's been a shoulder. Mike Davis in at running back, 3rd and 10. And they got him. 5th sack of the game for the Cardinals. Rodney Gunter again. Rodney Gunter having a big game for Arizona.
And Jermaine Ifedi's struggling against Gunter. And you got to be frustrated if you're Pete Carroll, because you came in this game saying we want to carry the momentum from what we've been able to do. But look at all these guys up front. And it's up for the offensive line to sort out who they're responsible for. Then when you start mixing in some of the stunts and some of the games where you wrap back inside a defensive lineman, they end up having a free run at the quarterback. And also Wilson can only do so much.
Michael Dixon has had 1 punt blocked. Gets this one away quickly. Good, strong kick over the head of Pharoh Cooper. Picks it up in the 20. And able to return down the sideline and shoved out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Good return by Pharoh Cooper. Boy, the defense has been all over Russell Wilson. He's been sacked 5 times in the game. Teams around the league have to study what Arizona has done when they come up here. As we watch Mike Solari, the offensive line coach, talk to Jermaine Ifedi, who's playing the right guard position. But Arizona, when they play up here, 4-1 the last 5 visits. The rest of the league, you can see they can't win up here.
And Seattle wins in Arizona.
Yeah.
And believe me, both teams are trying to figure out why that is.
Chase Edmonds on the carry. It's across the 40. Give him 3 yards on the carry.
You asked me, what's the deal with that? How does each team play so well at their opponent's house? I said, I don't know. I mean, look, believe me, if I could come up with an answer, maybe I'd be on one of these staffs right now figuring it out. But, both these teams typically play well on the road. I think they love the challenge, and the way both teams are constructed, it's a pretty even matchup, and that's what we're seeing so far in today's game.
They gave him 4 on the last carry. Larry Fitzgerald motions. Josh Rosen with a pump fake and a throw and a catch by Larry Fitzgerald. He held on. He bobbled and held on down at the 45, a first down. Larry Fitzgerald with 4 catches in the game.
You got to love the creativity of this. So they fake the screen to David Johnson on the outside. That's going to draw the defense to Johnson. And then it's Fitzgerald leaking out where the void in the coverage occurred because of the fake screen. Got to love that from Byron Leftwich.
Crowd urging on the Seahawks defense. Derek Coleman in at fullback. Chase Edmonds the tailback. Here's Edmonds. Good block by Coleman. Short pickup by Edmonds. And to the 44. Cardinals have had opportunities to put several points on the board. They came up short, had to settle for a couple of field goals in the first half, and then, of course, at the end of the half, the sack with time running out.
Yeah, and that's the difficulty when you've got some guys who have only been on the team for maybe a month. And you're trying to work together in this hostile environment, and eventually some things break down, and you don't have that chemistry built on your offense yet.
On 2nd and 9, Rosen in trouble. They chase him, he got it to Edmonds, and he is dropped for a loss. Bobby Wagner makes the tackle on Chase Edmonds.
Well, it was a screen, so you're typically going to get a little bit of pressure as a quarterback, but for Josh Rosen, just not that soon. Usually you see Mason Cole, he lets Poona Ford get by him. He's got to stay on him for another count to help out his quarterback. Eventually got the ball to Edmonds. Well defended by the Seahawks defense.
Loss of 4 on the play. 3rd and 13. Rosen gets time. Throws wide of Chad Williams. So the defense comes up with a big series.
And it looked like there may have been a miscommunication between Josh Rosen and Chad Williams. It almost looked like Rosen was throwing that ball in rhythm, like there was going to be a comeback, and Williams looked like he converted the route upfield. That's why when you play press man-to-man coverage, Sam, it gets tough because it changes the route sometimes.
High kick by Andy Lee. It drops at the 15, and it's kept in bounds. That's an outstanding play by Brandon Williams.
Look at the hustle by Williams to get downfield. Just able to get a hand on the football to bat it back in. And remember, the player can cross the plane as long as he doesn't step in.
That's right.
Before he touches the football.
That ball is down at the 2-yard line. And congratulations to Brandon Williams. The wild card race, we've been following the Bears. The Bears are leading the Vikings 13-3. Eagles are up on the Redskins. The Eagles would get in, the Vikings would be out, and Seattle would be the 5 seed.
There's a lot of unhappy Vikings fans with the way the season's gone for their team and paying all that money for Kirk Cousins. They feel like he needed to deliver. He's not right now.
Out of the end zone. Russell Wilson hands it off. Carson was hit just short of getting out of the end zone, but able to power his way out.
Corey Peters immediately getting into the backfield. You got to wonder, too, being in shotgun, sitting in your own ends and handing the football off. May want to be under center, maybe try to use some of that hard count, try to draw off the Arizona Cardinals defensive front. More punitive to the defense than your offense.
You know, you talked about Russell Wilson, how far would he go? We talked to Russell on Friday, and he looked at us like we were crazy thinking that he would come out of the game. He said, I plan on playing the entire game.
That's the mindset that Pete Carroll's instilled in all these guys. You know, it's the way they prepare. They have what's called a championship mindset. And just, again, from my time here, it didn't matter if it was a preseason, regular season, every single opportunity of a game, they were going out there trying to win it and play the best they could, because you're kind of turning on that switch. And Pete Carroll doesn't want you to ever turn off that switch. And that's the message that he felt like he'd be sending to his team if he sat some of his starters today. And that's why they're playing. They want to try to keep this momentum going into the playoffs that they've built, winning 5 of the last 6.
Well, they're certainly being tested because the Arizona Cardinals have come to play. This team that is 3-12 is playing like they're playing for a playoff spot.
Or maybe they're playing for their coach's job security.
Maybe.
You've heard Patrick Peterson speak out about that in the media. in favor of Steve Wilks, and I'll be right there with him. Again, things haven't worked out, but this is a team that's gone through drastic change over the course of the year. It's unfair to Steve Wilks.
2nd and 10. Carson comes out of the end zone and just fights his way across the 5 up to the 6-yard line.
We talk about the changes, and we talked about the roster changes, rookie quarterback, O-line issues. It's also the defense. When you go to a 3-4 to a 4-3, you don't necessarily have the personnel. It's hard to do that in a year's time in an offseason, to find the personnel for it, teach the technique you're talking about.
There's a big 3rd down play. Have to get to the 12-yard line for a 1st down. Empty backfield for Russell Wilson. He's got time. No one open. Flag on the play. Ball's loose. And it's recovered by Patrick Peterson for a touchdown.
No surprise here, Chandler Jones getting to Russell Wilson. But I think the Seahawks are claiming that maybe someone jumped off sides. There should be a penalty on the Cardinals.
The Cardinals are celebrating. The officials are talking.
Holding. Holding by the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Automatic 1st down. So the big penalty on the Cardinals wipes out what would have been a go-ahead touchdown.
And a huge momentum change for the Cardinals. Their defense trying to help out their offense, finding ways to put in the end zone. Now the question is, can the Cardinals defense respond and still find a way of forcing the Seahawks off the field?
Chris Carson back in at running back. 1st down for the Seahawks. At the 11-yard line. Carson, big hole and a big run. One man to beat, Bethea. And he's caught from behind inside the 30. Buda Baker with a tackle from behind. What a run by Chris Carson. 61 yards.
And he came shot out of a cannon. Look at it. It's just basically pressing the entire front side. Look at the down blocks to create the seam, and Dixon with the kick out. And then it's the speed of Chris Carson, a young man who's battled through so much throughout the course of his career playing football, dating back to his time in high school. Wasn't heavily recruited because of an ACL tear, and then goes to Oklahoma, battles through a thumb injury, Oklahoma State.
Russell Wilson on the short pass to the tight end Van Eck. Inside the 20, down to the 17. For Chris Carson, that was the longest run of his career and the longest run of the season by the Seattle Seahawks.
Just getting back to him, though. Dealt with a high ankle sprain last year as a rookie. It's always been something that's prevented him from having that breakout season. But since he's gotten to this team, John Schneider, the general manager, Pete Carroll, even Russell Wilson, they talked about, we saw flashes of his capability. We're finally seeing it this year.
Mike Davis in at running back. And he carries. And he pops it outside. Heading for the end zone. Touchdown! What a change in momentum. A holding penalty on the Cardinals turns everything around.
Yeah, and check this out. Watch the move that you're going to see Mike Davis make on David Emerson at the bottom of the screen. Right here. Ooh, that little stick, and then to the outside. He's got the burst to find his way to the end zone. Right here. A little jump cut to the outside.
Mike Davis with his 4th rushing touchdown. The extra point is good. The Seahawks with a big touchdown. Mike Davis takes it in from 17 yards away after the 61-yard run by Chris Carson. 98-yard drive for the Seattle Seahawks. 82 yards rushing on that drive.
And really sparked by the defensive holding call. And it was hard to hear who it was on. We believe it was on Hassan Reddick, and we'll show it after the kick.
Minnesota scored against Chicago, and the Bears' lead is 13-10 late in the third quarter. Janikowski's kickoff is short, brought back from the 12-yard line by Chase Edmonds. He's got a good hold and gets up to the 29-yard line. Let's take a look at that holding penalty that cost the Cardinals.
So right there's Hassan Reddick, and you're going to see Doug Baldwin work across, and Reddick grabs him as he tries to slide by, and that's where the flag ends up coming in on that side of the field. It doesn't look like a lot, but that's something we've seen over the past few weeks now, Sam, as we've seen more of an emphasis back on defensive holding and pass interference, and we've seen a lot of flags, and maybe to the chagrin of a lot of fans out there, but coming into the season, that was one of the emphasis for officials.
David Johnson, the tailback. Derek Coleman is the fullback. And the pass to Fitzgerald.
That's about as close as it gets as Larry Fitzgerald tries to tightrope the sideline and was trying to run a double move, but the press coverage from Trey Flowers makes it difficult for there to be much room to complete this football.
Makes the catch, but never got the feet down in bounds.
He got one down. Did that other foot drag, though? That looked close.
No challenge on the play.
There it is.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Sam,
Yes,
I think he
okay.
may have got that second foot and touched it down in bounds.
The challenge flag is out from Steve Wilkes, and he wants them to take a look at it.
So right there he gets his left foot down. Then it's about, does he get the right down?
An incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
Rolling, freeze right there.
Is that in or out?
It looks like it may have started to be in, and I don't think there's any question that he maintains control and possession of the football as he goes into the ground, but there's left. And I think he slides that right foot in there.
Wow.
Now again, it's got to be conclusive, right? Indisputable, because of the call on the field was an incompletion, so they've got to be convinced.
We always bring in the expert to answer the question. Dean Blandino, what do you think when you look at that?
You know, I think you guys have hit on a couple of key points. They ruled it incomplete, right? So it has to be conclusive. I've got control. I've got the left foot in, but it's this right foot. It does drag, but does any part of that foot clearly touch inbounds before it slides out of bounds? It's so close. If there's any doubt, they're going to stay with the call on the field. I think it might be in. I just don't know if there's enough to change it.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with Dean on this one, which is always tough. But Dean, as always, we got to compliment you. You're looking dapper, as always. Look at that suit. I mean, he's ready for New Year's. He is.
I'm just staying in this till tomorrow night. That's all I'm doing.
All right, Dean, as we await the ruling on the field, the ruling on the review, Larry Fitzgerald with a great effort, no doubt about that.
I mean, that's one of those plays that you don't appreciate because it doesn't go on the box score, but when you go back and look, it's just ridiculous. He's even able to make this play that close.
Here's Ron Torbert with the decision.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands. Arizona will be charged with its first time out of the half. It's second down. The clock will start on the snap.
Exactly what Dean said.
And if you're Steve Wilkes, what do you have to lose by challenging that, right? You try to just get some momentum here. And a 3-win season, why not take the chance?
As always, thanks to Dean Blandino for his expertise. The ball at the 30-yard line, 2nd and 10. David Johnson, the running back. Seahawks with the 8-point lead. Josh Rosen, too high for Chad Williams. Let's get an update. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson in L.A.
Bing Samso, you know the deal. Vikings clinch a playoff berth with a win. This helps. Kirk Cousins finds Stephon Diggs for a 2-yard scored, still trailing by 3. Sam?
They're about to start the fourth quarter in Minnesota. Thanks, Carissa.
Captain Kirk trying to bring a little comeback there in Minnesota.
And Philadelphia with a big lead in the fourth quarter, 17-0 in Washington. Minnesota loses, they're out. Philadelphia's in, and Seattle would be the number 5 seed. Rosen rolls, throws, and completes. Chad Williams with a good catch and holding on as he was brought down.
Two things here. Rosen, good movement in the pocket to even get this throw off, but they're going to run an in route here with Chad Williams. I thought when he caught the football, he had it, but I don't necessarily know that when he first hit his hands, he had possession. They're going to say he's just short, but Arizona's going for it anyway.
Fourth down and inches here, and the handoff straight ahead. They got the first down.
Remember, Steve Wilkes already tried to challenge the incompletion to Larry Fitzgerald. So at that point, if you want to make something happen, you got to get up quick, try to get a playoff. It's not like you're going to be able to challenge the spot.
Earlier in the game, David Johnson was stopped on the 4th and 1. This time, or rather on a short yardage situation. This time he made it. First down, Arizona to 44. The tight end Phillips motion. Josh Rosen rolling and throwing behind Chad Williams.
Well, Bobby Wagner made that window tough on Josh Rosen to try to find a way of getting it to Chad Williams. Chad Williams was sprinting across the field, but Wagner was enough in the window. Much as he traces around. Once he comes back, Williams just has to find a way to settle in that window. I know the throw feels like it's behind, but he can't lead Chad Williams in that case. Williams has to have a better feel to throttle down and make that catch.
On 2nd and 10, it's David Johnson trying to get outside. Short pickup in just across the 45. Delano Hill in on the tackle.
I'll tell you what, these cornerbacks for Seattle, the way Akeem King has come in for Shaquille Griffin, who's out after getting injured earlier in the game, the job that he's done to and helping to set an edge to allow Delano Hill to come up and make a play. Big time.
3rd and 8 for the Cardinals. Pressure from the outside. And they got him. Quentin Jefferson, the defensive end, finished it off.
Well, it all started off with Jaron Reed. Take a look right here. I mean, he just walks right by Mason Cole. Bad communication between Mason Cole and Ode Abushi, the center and right guard. Of course, Quentin Jefferson able to take care of the rest.
4th time Josh Rosen has been sacked in the game. Andy Lee with a long punt that goes into the end zone for a touchback, and the Seahawks will start from the 20-yard line. One thing we haven't touched on, because the game has really been compelling, is the fact that Arizona right now is sitting in the number 1 spot to get the first pick in the draft. If they lose, they will secure that first pick. And the Jets, who lost today, finished 4-12. The 49ers are about to finish 4-12 as they're down big against the LA Rams. And the Raiders.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, look, the Arizona Cardinals haven't been in this position in a long time.
Yeah.
Not that the players and coaches really care, because these guys, they don't care. I mean, they're not worried about next year. They're worried about right now.
They're caring about playing. Rashad Penny on the carry. Pickup of 2. The last time the Cardinals had the first pick in the draft was in 1958, and that pick was quarterback King Hill, who eventually wound up being a punter in the league.
It's always interesting how that works out. Look, there's a lot of prospects the Cardinals could look for. It's not going to be a quarterback, though. I think they got that in Josh Rosen. You can build on the defensive side of the football with some of the talent coming out this year's draft.
You could think, bouncing it out was Penny, could think about wide receiver.
Potentially.
And Christian Kirk, he got hurt. If Larry Fitzgerald retires, you need a receiver.
A little high to draft one there, especially with this year's class. I'm not sure there's that Calvin Johnson
Maybe
sitting
you
in your
trade
draft.
down.
Potentially, but I also think, again, you could get help on defense. Look at Nick Bosa, missed a good portion of the year. Him and Josh Allen to me are two of the biggest edge rushers, best prospects in the draft. Quinnen Williams is an absolute stud. If you want an interior guy, Greedy Williams can be a lockdown corner opposite of Patrick Peterson. I got Haskins on there, but again, that's not necessarily for the Arizona Cardinals.
On 3rd and 5, Russell Wilson throwing outside, the pass dropped by the tight end Nick Van Ed. So it's 3 and out for Seattle as we are late in the 3rd quarter.
It's 3 drops for the Seattle Seahawks. We had Doug Baldwin with a couple, Nick Van Nett now with another one, and I think if he catches this, he's going to be able to find his way to the sticks and get the first down. You see the frustration on Russell Wilson's face. This is not the way they want to come out here and finish off the season the way it's gone so far.
Russell Wilson 8 for 16, 91 yards. Punt is blocked. Second block of the game. And the ball wound up in the end zone, covered by the Cardinals.
Unbelievable. And it's Cameron Malvo was able to get a hand in on the block, and Dennis Gardeck, who gets recovers the football and ends up with a touchdown. He's the guy who blocked the punt earlier.
Special teams for the Arizona Cardinals coming up huge.
Right there up the center. I mean, you don't very often see that. Typically, you see it coming off of the edge. But Cameron Malvo bowling his way to Michael Dixon.
And the ball loose, rolling into the end zone, and finally covered by Gardeck, Dennis Gardeck, rookie out of Sioux Falls. The Cardinals going for 2. Johnson to the goal line. The Cardinals think it's in, and the officials say yes. The 2-point conversion is good.
Well, really, it's the credit of the offensive line getting a push up front. The question is whether or not his knee was down. But watch how everyone down blocks, and then it's going to be David Johnson slipping inside between Barksdale and is the elbow down before the ball crosses the plane. Watch his right elbow. He actually switches the ball to his right hand, and it looks like his left elbow hits down, but Justin Coleman's blocking the view. Here's a better look. Elbow down. And again, this is called a conversion.
Pete Carroll was out talking things over with one of the officials. He may challenge.
Well, the unfortunate part is
ruling on the previous
Justin Coleman could be blocking the view.
Point will be reviewed.
It will be reviewed. That's an automatic scoring play, so it is an automatic review.
The question is going to become whether or not you can piece together some looks to make this conclusive or indisputable. Because it's tough with the look down the goal line. But clearly right there, you could see his left elbow touches down, and that's the key here, because once the elbow touches down with contact, he's down. So then where's the football?
It's a tough angle.
I mean, it almost looks short when he hits the ground anyway from that angle.
Well, time to go back to Dean Blandino, who answers all. Dean, what do you think on that play?
Yeah, I think we're looking at that left elbow. Where is the ball? If any part of that ball breaks the plane before the elbow is down, the score is good. Unfortunately, on that goal line look, we don't get a great shot because we're blocked out by bodies, so we're trying to piece angles together. It's tough to do that. I think he might be short, but again, I don't think there's enough to change this.
So far, Dean Blandino's batting 1,000 today. We'll see if he keeps his streak going. My money's with him right now because, I mean, really the best view you would have had is blocked by Justin Coleman. So it's unfortunate for Seahawks fans and for Seattle in general, but what a change in momentum.
All right, Ron Torbert is taking off the headset and has the decision.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The conversion is good.
All right, the fans don't like it, but not enough to overturn again. Not enough to overturn, get conclusive evidence. So the Arizona Cardinals, who have made some big plays on defense and special teams, 2 blocked punts in this game.
Cameron Malvo getting his hand on this one, the first-year player out of Houston. And it ends up in the arms of Dennis Gardeck, who was the defensive player to first block a punt in today's game.
So the Cardinals have tied the game at 21. Final seconds of the third quarter. Tyler Lockett's return is to the 22-yard line. And there's one thing for sure, the Arizona Cardinals have made the Seahawks play this game to the max.
And this is very similar to their Week 4 matchup. In Josh Rosen's first start, it was a tight game. It went back and forth. You had some special teams blunders. Both teams suffered missing kicks. Seattle was able to win it in the fourth quarter, hitting a field goal as time expired. You get the sense that it's kind of heading in that direction right now.
Chris Carson on the carry. Across the 25 to the 26. And, whoa, little tempers flaring here. Couple of shoves, and then the innocent side. Block punt by Cameron Malvo. The ball recovered in the end zone for a touchdown by Dennis Gardeck. End of the third quarter. Back in Seattle, Sam Rosen, Brady Quinn, Lisa Byington. We're starting the fourth quarter. That is the special teams coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals, Jeff Rogers. What a job he's done with his group. They have really made a difference in this game.
Yeah, 2 blocked punts, and there's been a number of times too where they've been close. Set up a nice return for Farrell Cooper, hitting on their field goals too. Somewhere they've really struggled this year on special teams. So all the way around, solid performance, and it just goes to the credit of this team, this group of players and coaches, not listening to all the noise on the outside.
Now, Seattle Seahawks, 208 yards offense, 156 rushing. That pass complete. Chris Carson, he's out of bounds at the first down marker.
This is the type of throw that doesn't get enough appreciation. Watch the pressure off of the edge. And watch what Russell Wilson does. Just a little flick out into space. And then Carson with the one hand on the football to bring it back in his body. Look at those long arms of Montarius Dora.
First down at the 33 for the Seahawks. Mike Davis now in the running back. Davis carries. Good hole. And he's up to the 40-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play. Antoine Bethea, the leading tackler for the Cardinals this season, makes the tackle.
And if not for Antoine Bethea making this tackle, there's a lot more running room. Offensive line for the Seattle Seahawks starting to settle in now and really starting to adjust to the Arizona Cardinals defensive front.
Seahawks, the leading rushing team in the NFL, averaging 158 yards rushing per game, are up over 160.
Well, let's get a little chippy down there now. Deion Buchanan just hip tossed Ethan Posick. And Buchanan's about 90 pounds lighter, maybe over 100 than Posick, but that's how these two teams want to win.
Ball up at the 42-yard line. Seahawks, last 2 possessions, 95 yards rushing. Led by that big run by Chris Carson. That carry comes up close. But it looks like it's a little short of the first down marker. Good job up front by the Cardinals.
And credit Hassan Reddick, the way he closes down off of the edge. Watch this. He's got a beat on the football and really doesn't allow Chris Carson to get upfield. Once he stops his feet, Reddick's already there to make the stop in the backfield.
They're actually a yard short. Good job by the Cardinals. And fans didn't like the fact that the punting unit came out.
A better job running a fake here. The punt team's protected.
And there's pressure again. Dixon, a big, long kick. That goes right into the end zone. But the Cardinals will start from the 20-yard line. The game tied early, fourth quarter in the season finale. It's been a good one. Check out what's going on. The Bears lead the Vikings 21-10 with just under 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Eagles are about to beat the Redskins. There's 2:40 to go in that game. If those scores stand up, the Eagles get in, the Vikings are out. The Seahawks would be the 5 seed and would play in Dallas next week. Right here, game tied, and the Cardinals start from the 20-yard line. David Johnson able to find enough room to get 5 yards on that carry. David Johnson, 13 carries, 41 yards in the game. Josh Rosen, 15 for 30, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. Josh Rosen has been sacked 4 times in the game. Russell Wilson has been sacked 5 times in the game. Sherfield motions the wide receiver. David Johnson gets outside. Nice run by David Johnson up to the 40-yard line.
A really good job by John Phillips, the tight end, helping to seal the edge. Watch as he kind of sets an edge and allows Johnson to get to the outside. It's up to the second level. You see them seal the way. And good job, too, by the left tackle, Will Holden, who struggled a little bit today in pass protection, but stepped up there. Unblocked.
15-yard run for David Johnson. First down for the Cardinals. Chase Edmonds down the backfield for Arizona. 2 tight ends to the left. Edmonds. Short pickup up across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Poona Ford, rookie out of Texas, made the stop. Poona Ford, 5'11", 310 pounds. Takes up a lot of space in the middle.
Yeah, and he's really shown up as a rookie. Free agent out of Texas. He's added some nice depth to the Seattle Seahawks defensive front. But the fourth quarter, go back to the Week 4 matchup between these two teams. Josh Rosen's first start played well in the fourth quarter. Really put the Cardinals in a position to win that game.
The fake by Rosen. He rolls. Flag on the play. And he's out of bounds up at the 43. It looks like it could be a holding against the Cardinals.
Holding.
It's going to be a Will Holden.
Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Ode Abushi, the right guard, called for the hold.
Interesting. It was in the vicinity of Holden, but it was Abushi. And see how he rips him down? You know, if he puts his hands on him the way he did and just lets him go, and he's releasing out into the screen. So there's no reason for him to do that. It's just a mistake by a guy who, you know, really is a veteran player. He's been in the league now 6 years, and he doesn't need to do that.
Only the 4th penalty of the game, the 3rd against Arizona. Ball back to the Cardinals 32. Josh Rosen finds a man. It's Edmonds out of the backfield, and he's brought down up at the 40. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. He's on wild card race alert.
Well, we all know that Nick Foles is playing for the injured Carson Wentz, but he left the game with an injured chest, so Nate Sudfeld is in at quarterback for the Eagles, throws his first NFL touchdown. That makes it 24-0 right now. Minnesota's also losing, so it looks like the Eagles could be in the playoffs, Sam.
With another backup.
Nate Sudfeld. Thanks, Kurt.
I think he started his career in Washington, too, so kind of how that all works out.
Another story. 3rd and 10 for the Cardinals. Pressure on Josh Rosen. Down he goes. Ball is out. The big pileup in the scramble and digging for the ball.
Well, watch this hit.
Seahawks
from Delano Hill. Delano Hill comes on some of a delayed blitz, and he is shot out of a cannon and forces the sack from Rosen. Never sees it coming. Oh, it's actually the hit from Frank Clark pushing Holden right into his lap. But if he didn't get there first, it's going to be Hill. Either way, that ball was coming out of Rosen's hand on the back end. This has just been a synopsis of the season for Josh Rosen, given the issues that they've had trying to protect him.
Second turnover of the game for the Arizona Cardinals. And a big one for the Seahawks, who thrive on this.
Yeah, and this is where they capitalize. You know, they get a sudden change like this, they take a shot, and they make a play to seize the momentum.
At the Cardinals 31, with the game tied. Chris Carson dropped for a loss. And the Arizona Cardinals defense, this time led by Corey Peters, strong up front.
Yeah, and he's really won that matchup. You can see him right over the center, Justin Britt, but it's been working against Ethan Posick. And it's a tough block for Posick because he's got to get across his face in order to get position on Peters, who's every bit of 305 pounds. Done a good job penetrating so far today. You see Buda Baker in there as well.
Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12 for the Seahawks. A motion Doug Baldwin. Wilson rolling right, looking deep, and throws short. Leaping catch, and out of bounds at the 22 was David Moore, given the 21-yard line, and that'll be a first down.
Yeah, so really you've just got a little high-low outside on Patrick Peterson. And basically you try to make him wrong, and it ends up being where once Russell Wilson extends the play, Patrick Peterson drops off, and he can just flick it right over the top to David Moore, who high points the football.
3 receivers left. Mike Davis in at running back. First down for the Seahawks. Wilson gets time, throws to the end zone. Too far for Doug Baldwin.
He ran out of real estate, but he was working to Baldwin the entire way. Russell Wilson was trying to manipulate the secondary for the Cardinals to create a window for Baldwin. Talked about it a moment ago. I mean, this area of the field, this is where they like to take shots and try to seize some of the momentum off the turnover.
The Eagles have won. They beat Washington 24-0. Chicago's leading Minnesota 24-10 with 4:25 to go in the 4th quarter. Minnesota could be out. Russell Wilson on a keeper. And Trey Boston stays with him. Good job by Trey Boston.
That's the definition of discipline right there. And I think you've seen it throughout the course of the game. The Cardinals are very aware of Russell Wilson's ability to keep the football. And you're going to see Boston come down and be responsible for Russell Wilson if he keeps the football. And this is just a design run play. He pump fakes to see if maybe Trey Boston would take the fake. He didn't.
There's 3rd and 9 for the Seahawks at the 20-yard line. Pressure from the outside, they got him. 6th sack of the game for the Arizona Cardinals. Zach Moore, the defensive end, with the tackle, with the sack.
Once again, it's the different blitz packages and looks. Look at all the bodies. This is what the Seattle Seahawks offensive line has to discern, and ends up being Zach Moore wrapping back underneath as Russell Wilson steps up into the pocket. And the reason why this is becoming such an issue is both guards. Those guys are there for the interior. They're having a tough time handling the games.
Sebastian Janikowski, 42-yard field goal is good. And the Seahawks have regained the lead. It's a 3-point lead, 24-21. Defending Super Bowl champion Eagles finished 9-7. They beat the Redskins 24-0. Now they're waiting on the Bears at Minnesota. Bears leading the Vikings 24-10 with 3:39 to go in the fourth quarter. Vikings will need a miracle. If they don't come back, they're out. And the Eagles are in the number 6 seed. Seattle would be number 5, and Seattle would play at Dallas next week. Farrell Cooper is deep. The Janikowski kick is through the end zone. And tonight, the crew of the Starship Orville is back. From creator Seth MacFarlane comes a brand new season of thrilling missions and epic adventures. The Orville Season 2 premieres tonight after football on Fox. Good show. Check it out. Now, Josh Rosen and the Arizona Cardinals start from the 25, down by 3 points. David Johnson and Derek Coleman in the backfield. Coleman the fullback. Rosen puts it up, and it's caught and held by Sherfield. Trent Sherfield, the rookie out of Vanderbilt. He has shown well in his chances here late in the season.
Yeah, rookie on rookie. And really, they're just running a pop pass. He's going to release inside, and he's going to run a post route, and it's off the play action pass, and Sherfield does just enough to be able to shield Trey Flowers from getting a hand in on it. With those long arms standing at 6'3".
Rosen under center. Off the play fake. He throws and completes it. This time to Chad Williams into Seahawks territory at the 45.
We talked about you can't give up on the run game because even though it doesn't really provide you much production, it sets up the play action pass, and now you're starting to see those soft spots and the zone coverage come open because they've threatened them with the run throughout the course of this game.
Chad Williams, 5 catches, 51 yards. Malachi Dupree is in the game. Just came up from the practice squad on Friday. Number 15, David Johnson. It's down the 41-yard line. Jacob Martin, a rookie we've talked about in this game. Rookie out of Temple, made the stop.
You know, the biggest key right here is if you're Arizona and you're Josh Rosen, you're driving down, you got to come up with a touchdown. A field goal is not going to be good enough because Russell Wilson is the best in the fourth quarter of games.
2nd and 5, Steve Wilkes looks on. David Johnson, nice cutback. Gets down to the 36, a yard short of the first down. Brings up a 3rd and 1. KJ Wright and Delano Hill combine on the stop.
And Nazir Jones had an opportunity. He's the guy who penetrates and gets a hand on Johnson, but he just can't quite bring him down. Now you get to 3rd and 1. And you've seen Arizona be able to convert a couple of these in the second half.
2 receivers to the left. Tight end to the right. Motion Larry Fitzgerald. David Johnson fights his way. He's got enough for the first down.
Jaron Reed thought he may have stopped Johnson short. And this is going to be close. The officials point for the first down.
At the 35-yard line. Two backs in. Johnson and Coleman. Coleman the fullback. It's Johnson, couple of yards. They'll spot him at the 34, give him a yard on the carry.
You get the sense that every time you see them come up with the personnel grouping of Chad Williams, Larry Fitzgerald, both in the game at the same time, they tend to pass so far today.
3 wide receivers in for Arizona. Williams and Sherfield go left. Fitzgerald to the right. Rosen, nobody open. They've got him. That's the 5th sack of the game. Jaron Reed, third-year man out of Alabama, with a sack.
I felt like maybe Josh Rosen got off of Sherfield just a bit early. If he could just hang in there a second longer, he's coming right across the screen. Jaron Reed got there in time.
Reed's second sack.
Warning.
Seahawks have a 3-point lead as we reach the 2-minute warning. Back at Century Field in Seattle. Sam Rosen, Brady Quinn, Lisa Byington. Glad you're with us. This has been a good one. And the answer to the question, Pete Carroll has played his regulars the whole game.
Yeah, but they've needed to. They haven't had their best performance.
And the Cardinals have played for their coach, Steve Wilkes. They have really put up quite an effort.
And on 3rd and long here, it's not complicated. If you're Josh Rosen, you're looking for your playmaker. That's Larry Fitzgerald.
They've got to get to the 25 for a first down. Rosen with time, throwing, and it's dropped through the hands of Sherfield. Trent Sherfield had a chance.
Oh, this is a well-thrown football. Releases up the field. He's going to bend towards the soft spot between the 2 safeties. You've got to make this catch if you want to try to win this football game. And this is what plagued the Arizona Cardinals the first time they played. They had 6 drops in that game. They just didn't make enough plays for their quarterback.
Zane Gonzalez will attempt a 55-yard field goal to try and tie the game. He kicked a 50-yarder earlier. It's got the distance. It is good. Zane Gonzalez with a 55-yarder has tied it up.
A career long. How clutch is that for a guy who struggled all year?
Arizona Cardinals special teams, a big reason why this game is tied.
Well, when you're struggling offensively, you got to find a spark, and it's been the special teams that have created that spark, providing them with some advantageous field position and even helping them put some points on the scoreboard as well. And then it's been the kicking game. Come up clutch. Mentioned it before, Zane Gonzalez, 66% on the year. Hasn't been great. He's hit 3 so far today.
Gonzalez kicks off. It's a touchback, and now it is Russell Wilson time as he tries to bring his team to victory. 4th quarters have always been his time to shine.
That's been the mantra here in Seattle. You talk to Pete Carroll, he tells the team, you don't win the game in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd quarter. It's the 4th quarter, and Russell Wilson epitomizes that throughout the course of his career. 22 game-winning drives, drives to seal games for this Seattle Seahawks team. He seems to play the best when everything's on the line.
They start from the 25 with 2 timeouts. Russell Wilson, 10 for 19 for 110 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Mike Davis on the carry, picks up 3. Rodney Gunter, who's had a big game on the defensive line, made the stop, and he comes up a little gingerly there. It stays on the field. Hurry up offense for the Seahawks. Wilson with time, throwing short to Davis. Out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Just short of the 34. Buda Baker chased him out. It'll be 3rd and a yard and a half for the Seahawks.
Plenty of time with 2 timeouts, and they got a kicker with a big leg in Sebastian Janikowski. His career long 63.
Davis, first down, Seattle. Up at the 37-yard line.
This has all the makings of a very familiar ending based on how this matchup went earlier this year.
The game in Arizona was won by Sebastian Janikowski on the last play of the game. Wilson throwing deep, and he's got a man. He completes it to Tyler Lockett. Wow, what a throw and a great catch by Tyler Lockett down to the 25-yard line.
We've seen this twice now, and it's just some confusion between the seam player and the cornerback. Who's responsible for that deep third, especially when they've got two guys occupying that space? Sold earlier for a touchdown to Lockett, this time for a big gain.
There's Chris Carson looking for an opening. Gets inside the 25. They're certainly in field goal range now. The game is over in Minnesota, and we welcome the fans who are watching that game. Right here, the Seahawks are tied with Arizona.
And they got down to this portion of the field after a big play from Russell Wilson. Kept his eyes downfield and connected with Tyler Lockett, something they have done throughout the course of the season. Not going to find a better 30-plus throw in the NFL than Russell Wilson.
Carson slips one man, gets outside. And he wanted to stay inbounds, and it looked like they shoved him out.
Well, either way, they're going to exercise the timeout here with only 8 seconds left.
Remaining.
Yeah. What a job, though, by Carson. Just to get to the outside, breaks the initial tackle by Budda Baker. If not, this would make it a much more difficult field goal for Sebastian Janikowski.
Russell Wilson has taken his team from the 25-yard line into scoring position in 5 plays. And, of course, the big play was the pass to Tyler Lockett to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and the question is here is where's Sebastian Janikowski want the ball? Does he want it on the right hash, or do they potentially move the ball to the middle, given how close it is?
This game has gone back and forth. Arizona's had a lead in this game. The Seahawks have led in this game. Arizona's come back to tie a couple of times. Steve Wilkes has seen this picture before.
This is exactly how the Week 4 game played out.
That's it.
Rosen drove him down, gave him a chance to tie it up, and Russell Wilson found the magic to do it again.
All right, they want to run another play.
That's right.
And Russell Wilson takes a knee, and they quickly call timeout. So here we go. Another last-second play for Sebastian Janikowski. Week 4, he kicked a 52-yarder to beat the Arizona Cardinals in Glendale. And here the try will be from 33 yards away.
But as we see the seedings, the NFC playoff picture, meaningless kick, because the Seattle Seahawks, because of the loss by the Minnesota Vikings, are locked now into that 5 seed. It's all about just getting a win here today.
And the timeout called by Arizona.
And why not, by the way? You know, you can't take the timeouts with you. Might as well put a little more additional pressure. Let Sebastian Janikowski think about it.
In Week 4, Janikowski from 52 yards away. And in a game that went back and forth, Seattle won it 20-17. This has been the same type of game. And now it's Janikowski in an extra point distance, 33 yards away. Michael Dixon is the holder. Tyler Ott is the long snapper. And that's it. The Seattle Seahawks end their regular season with a 27-24 win over the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks finish 10-6. They will play Dallas in the wild card round in Dallas next week. Arizona finishes 3-13. A terrific game won by the Seahawks.